Right, Sunday morning. Got to decide what I'm going to do. Under there's loads of timbers. I need to get them out of the way so I can get my garden. But the bits of fence panel, shiplap, stuff like that. And one day I'm thinking of putting shingles on here. You know, cut them up in loads of bits. Just for the fun of it, really. Or could do something in here. I need to build a welding cart. Last year I bought a chop saw. Nice chop saw, but I haven't really had much chance to use it, so Sunday might play with that. At the same time as I bought that, I bought some steel box section. That's waiting for me to cut up to make a stand for my welder. But I think what I should do is get some primer on here instead. I want to play with my new saw and stuff and my welder, but this is excess paint that I just sprayed on here. Because yesterday I sprayed primer, a PU primer, on, remember there was a sample piece here when I was sharpening. That piece. Give it a sand, round it off the edge a little bit. And then put the gloss on it. That looks quite good. So I think that's what I'm going to do today. Get some primer on them two pieces. I'll bring the baseboard in here. So I've just been rubbing my wood with a bit of sandpaper. Get it all nicely smooth. I'll put some feet on it. So it should be a spray it all around. Spin it round once I've sprayed this side. I'm only going to put primer on for now. Probably too much, but that's the nice thing about having a big tin and hardener that you can just get online easily. So these are only about £2, but I prefer to have too much than not enough. I put the strip in so it doesn't come out the other side. Right, it's a bit late at night to be getting sander out, but these sanding pads, these cyanide ones, seem to be doing quite well. Just like the Abernet ones. You see they've got a line to them. So you've got to sand at an angle like that. If you sand like that, you leave lines in it. You've got to sand at an angle. But this filler sands off quite easily. If you sand one bit, just sand a bit around it in case you've created a bit of a hollow or, you know, a different texture to the surface. This is the 120, this one. I've gone around and filled all the pinholes sand as well. Right, yesterday all I did were a bit of sanding and filling, didn't get on with painting. But they're ready now, both of them. So, spray some paint. Got a Devablis FLG 5 1.8mm nozzle. My compressor's a 50 litre compressor, and this filter regulator set at, it's about 30. When you pull the trigger it goes down to about 25. I'm going to spray on some primer, PU primer. I've got a new tin down there, it's the same stuff, but I'm going to use this up. 2-to-1 mix with a catalyst. It's the same stuff as the new stuff, just a different brand. On the mixing cups here there's 2 to 1, if you can see that. So 2 paint, 1 catalyst, same all the way up. And there's little percentage signs. For this paint, for the primer, it's quite thick, so I put a generous amount of thinners in. Plus this first coat I want it to be thin. Right, bloody camera didn't film it, but I've got 2 parts paint, 1 part catalyst, and then I've topped it up with thinners up to the 30% mark, because this primer is quite thick. I've got a 190 filter here, and I can tell how fast it goes through the filter as to how thin it is. Should be able to pour it at a steady rate, and it goes through the filter about the same rate. If the filter starts filling up, then it's too thick. If it's too thick, it'll spit out, it'll come out in bits. The paint on the surface won't flow together. I'll blow this through. Right, so I'll leave that for, I don't know, an hour or so. I don't want it to dry properly, this first coat. But that white will show up any little bits that I want to address. Most of it looks alright. There's a couple of little bits here, they might fill up. And I'm not too sure about this corner where I run the route around it. Try sanding it, you can make a mess of it. So we'll see about that. There's a bit there, look, a bit of glue there. And on this one, there's one or two little cracks here and there. I think this was face down most of the time, but most of it looks alright. Right, I left that about an hour. I was reminded when I sprayed that to spray this inside bit first. I've left the back, I've screwed the back on so that I can stand it up and spray it from both sides when it comes to it. I filled these little bits. You have to fill them when you're spraying, just tiny little pinholes sometimes, because like normal paint, you know, your hand painting, you can blob some in, but for some reason spraying, the hole just seems to get bigger and bigger. The more you spray, the more it craters out. I think it's something to do with surface tension. I'll leave that filler for a little bit. I've used the 2-part stuff again. I think I've done it all. Right, so that's the 120. Need to get this all smooth and perfect. As perfect as I want the final coat to be. And then I'm just using the soft bit on the 320. Just go around the edges. It's easy to knock the paint off on the edges here. But I don't mind if a bit of paint comes off, because that's what this first coat's about. It's about prepping the MDF. That's all smooth. Get the dust off and I'll give it another coat. A bit of dust in here, so I've got my fan on up there, sucking it all out. I've just blown it all down. I'll leave it an hour, let this get out, the dust out, and I'll give it another blow down. You see, this one, I filled the edges, I've sanded a bit more often than you like, but this is important, you know, this is the point where you wanna get it absolutely perfect. So once your top coats start going on, you don't want to be doing any filling. And just a thought before I continue. When I sprayed this, it was laid down like that, so I could flood the top. And you get a little bit of orange peel with this paint. I'll take it outside, you'll be able to see it then. Maybe. This paint, you get a bit of orange peel. On that side, can't catch the sun on it. That side was stood upright like that, so I couldn't flood it. But this side was laid down, you know, it was like that. So that's my concern doing that top. That's my concern doing this headboard. I'll be able to flood this bit, but the sides I can only get so much on before it starts dribbling. Now can you see the orange peel there? There's a bit on the side, a bit more on the side. Anyway, we'll see. I'll get some more primer on these. Right, that's nearly dry. Next I want to, that's a shadow along there. Next I want to take these down to the workshop, get them mounted on the bed, then I can finish the skirts that go down the side. Spraying in there, like I say, I'm going to take the back off and then I can spray it from both sides. And what I just noticed, I was just editing some of the vids. I noted it when I was spraying as well. When I was spraying here, you got overspray bouncing off. So when I did this, it was all bouncing off into there. I want to try and avoid that when it comes to doing the top coat. And in here, sometimes it's hard to reach into the corners. You can reduce your fan down, reduce the pressure down a little bit so it goes into the corner. But what happens is, I'll show you on here, shiny shiny. Imagine that's your corner and your spray pan is there, this is your gun here. Your spray pattern's coming down, hits there and bounces off. Same there, comes down, bounces off. And all that's doing that. So what you end up with is turbulence in there, so this paint that's coming down the middle there doesn't reach the corner. So what you end up with is paint down to about there and a gap in the corner. So if you reduce your fan down to, you know, just a few inch, you can squirt it down into there. But it's quite hard sometimes because you get too much paint, you've got to turn down your flow and your air and everything and just take it gently. Your fan patterns like that, and you spray across, you know, like that. So to get into those corners, you know, you're doing that. Sometimes you can do that, but then you get all that paint going on in there, so you've got to be really quick, you know, just whip some in the corners. But I'm going to try and avoid that by taking the back off, and then I can spray there and spray there, you know, from back to front. But it also means standing this thing up, so I'll probably have to take it off the trestles, put it on the floor, maybe stand it up off the floor, because the same thing, I need to clean my floor, but I'll get spray bouncing down and turbulence there, so I'll have to lift all this up. That's why I have it overhanging like this, so when I'm spraying it's going down and it's not bouncing back up onto the underside, which I've still got to paint. But you can see it dries quite flat. Looks all bitty when it goes on. Like I say, it dries flat. This one, you get a little bit of that bouncing off the table here, but I don't think it's too bad. It's not quite dry yet. But yeah, next I need to get these down, get them mounted on that bed, and get the rest of it made.